All right, let's get into the matchups.
Fantasy Forecast.
I have. I'll just tell the audience that we print the weekly matchups out as a separate piece of paper so we can just reference which games and people are playing. Jason was missing his paper today, and apparently I took his matchup paper.
How do you know that you took my
paper?
I
only know that because at the bottom you wrote a little note to us during the show. We recorded our Wednesday show after lunch on Tuesday, later on Tuesday, and he wrote Chipotle killing brain.
There you go.
Because he had just eaten, and so he was
a lot of metabolizing.
Yeah, you don't do good with food.
I do great with food.
I
Food
guess
doesn't do great with me.
A matter of perspective. All right. Packers. They head to Detroit to take on the Red Hot Lions.
It's crazy, man.
Revenge game. Hey,
well,
do we have a water bet with that guy out there?
With Foot Clan Mike?
Betting on the Packers has proved not good for this podcast. I want some matchup to come that seems perfectly impossible and let us bet on the Packers and see what happens.
Packers-Browns?
Or like Packers, at home against the Lions.
Yeah.
So this game's in Detroit. Stafford's coming off a 5-touchdown game. What do we think of Stafford rest of the season? Because someone wrote in they were asking for some great playoff matchups. Stafford was in that streamer list for me because he's got San Francisco in Week 16. He's got a really good matchup in Week 15. I think it's New Orleans.
New Orleans, yeah.
So Stafford looks like maybe somebody to ride a little bit.
Yeah, it's not bad. When was? Let's refresh memories, especially mine over here. When did Jim Bob Cooter take over? Was that after the bye week? Was it so the last 3 weeks?
I believe it was during the bye.
So in the last 3 weeks, they played Green Bay, Oakland, and Philadelphia. He's only thrown one pick in that time, Matt Stafford. So he's playing a lot better. He had the game against Oakland where that was a really strange game where both Stafford and Carr were not bad, but they just struggled and they couldn't get anything really done for fantasy. But aside from that, I mean, he 2 touchdowns against Green Bay in Week 10 and 5 against Philadelphia on that Thanksgiving massacre of the Eagles. So I think things are trending in the right direction for Matt Stafford. Maybe we got some better play calling happening. You can see the ground game has improved tremendously because there was literally no ground game at all to start the year.
That probably helps.
Absolutely, it helps. I mean, when you have
nobody's like cracking up when they try to play action pass,
and that's the technique.
That's what used to happen.
You see if you can make them laugh long enough for a receiver to break open. Like Abdullah actually had a decent game on the ground last week.
So did Joik.
Yeah, and Joik's game was really through the air is when he got it done on those 2 huge passes. So I think all those things combined equal to Matt Stafford being a solid play moving forward, and I would even play him tonight.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. And the Packers' defense has started. It started quickly. It started well, and now it's not been great. The run defense 23rd, the pass defense 18th. One thing that's interesting, though, is on the other side of the ball, the Lions give up the most multi-touchdown games to running backs.
Yes.
Lacy's trending up.
Yes.
This is a must-start situation for him, right?
Absolutely.
I think you do start Lacy, but I don't buy into the defense of the Lions being that sieve that they were early in the year. Since that bye week, we have seen a different Lions, and I think 3 games in a row is enough to say they've at least stepped up. They haven't phoned it in. In the last 3 games, they've given up 1 total touchdown to the running backs on the ground. So I do think Eddie Lacy is a fine start. He's back. He is a late season bloomer. I mean, he took over late last year, and I expect that he's going to do it again this year. I think he's fine to start, but I don't see the Lions as what they were.
Certainly
giving up 2 touchdowns, 3 touchdowns, 2 touchdowns.
Who was the touchdown to?
That was to Oakland. So I believe that was Latavius Murray.
One of the things that has helped them, obviously, has been an improving pass defense, and that concerns Rodgers owners. You've had the Lions playing well. They're at home. They're on a roll.
Darius Slay is shutting people down.
He's looking good.
Now,
so who's he going to be on? Probably
whoever's.
That's a great question. I don't know if he shadows into the slot.
So, is the upside of Rodgers gone?
No.
He can still go out and throw a 5-touchdown game.
I would have absolutely 100%. He could go out this week against Darius Slay and throw 5 touchdowns. I believe. I don't hesitate for a second.
A lot of people asking whether Cobb is worthy of starting this week, and I've been telling people most often no, compared to what they've shown me on their team. I mean, we can look at the rankings a little bit about what we have him at this week. We have him at 20 as a consensus ranking. That puts him in the 2 category, right around the Cobb or Amari Cooper.
Man, Cooper's got a tougher matchup, but I would probably go with Cooper.
Yeah, LaFell, Watkins, that range.
Yeah, that's fine. I would start Cobb over those guys.
Huh.
Yeah, I think Cobb is an okay start. I mean, you're not getting a wide receiver 1, but as a wide receiver 2, he has been getting enough receptions and targets. He's been getting 5 or 6 receptions a game. He just hasn't been in the end zone lately, and he hasn't broken one long. But
what is it? 10 straight games? You got 1 double-digit game in 10 games, something like that. That's what the problem. I want him to show me something before I put him in the lineup anymore. That's kind of my mentality. But I think his name is getting him starts more than his performance.
Yeah, and that's understandable.